All Hallows Eve, the evening all your nightmares come to life. All the creatures of the night come out to play. It's time to pay tribute to this terrifying month. So join us as we celebrate the sinister season. This is the Venom month of horrors. The reboot.
That was just very immature of me. Saw 2. Well, Saw was a big hit, so naturally a sequel was going to happen. But James Wan and Leigh Whannell were actually too busy making Dead Silence. However, music video director Darren Lynn Bousman had just the thing. A completely unrelated screenplay called The Desperate.
Oh, that shit!
He was trying to pitch this to several studios, but it was rejected constantly for being far too similar to Saw. It eventually did get picked up in Germany before an American cinematographer, David A. Armstrong, who had actually worked on Saw, found it and showed it to producer Greg Hoffman. He liked it so much he wanted to produce. However, Bousman was hurt that people thought he was ripping off the rip-off, and he was positive he was going to be sued for plagiarism. Leigh Whannell jumped on board to tweak the script, and it was then turned into Saw 2. Yep, Saw 2 was never even supposed to be a Saw movie to begin with.
This is all a fucking big goddamn joke.
All of the traps and deaths that you see in the film are all from the original script for The Desperate, just with Saw characters now introduced, despite Bousman claiming that the two scripts weren't similar in the slightest. The ending was removed from the screenplay for most of the cast to keep it a surprise, and the actors were allowed to somewhat improvise, such as,
The only door you know how to open is between your legs.
The movie was moderately well received. Some found it a decent continuation, diving into the psyche of the killer, while others felt it was diving in the wrong direction of gore more than suspense. The movie takes place sometime after Saw 1 and follows Eric Matthews.
Hello, I'm Eric Matthews.
Not that one.
Fuck this, that's a good idea.
Played by Donnie Wahlberg, a cop who's going through a divorce and is struggling with his son, so Jigsaw, again played by Tobin Bell, decides to help out, kidnapping his son, locking him in a house with a bunch of criminals as they all breathe in poison gases and have just 2 hours to live while he's forced to have a nice chat with a lovely fellow to try to locate his son in time.
No, that's not a good idea.
Before the main trap, we do have to start the trend of a mini one to kick off the film with the usual fast editing style that I still love, but man, my weird thing with eyeballs just makes this so difficult to watch.
So far in what could loosely be called your life, you've made a living watching others. Society would call you an informant, a rat, a snitch. I call you unworthy of the body you possess, of the life that you've been given.
This guy is punished for watching people. We don't know the extent of him watching people, he just watches people.
Make your choice.
Fuck are you? Who the fuck are you?
How does he not know who Jigsaw is? They knew who he was in the first film. Oh, and somehow none of these people know who Jigsaw is either.
Who the hell is Jigsaw?
You watch fucking news?
Oh, well, finally, it's about time. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it, so fair play, dude. I'd be dead too. Donnie Wahlberg gives a great performance, even if he is a terrible father.
I think I should go back to Mom's.
Well then go!
The thing is, his performance somehow still manages to get sympathy out of you. He's clearly going through hell, so you can understand his troubles. One subplot that was dropped was going to be him having a relationship with the other cop, Kerry. I mean, it wouldn't really have added anything. They were good friends and that was enough. But Eric seems to be a robot or something. Just randomly in the middle of the night, he suddenly remembers where the trap was built, and that's where they find out where Jigsaw's hiding. Didn't they go there in the first movie? Didn't those two cops tell anyone? Tobin Bell is still incredibly badass. He's not even fazed when the entire police department burst into his lair and have guns pointed at his face. Even if he can't spell Matthews. His genius is very limited. To be fair, the staircase is booby-trapped and they still run into the building, so I don't think he has anything to worry about. They're all morons. But everything John says is amazing. Tobin Bell oozes charisma. What I love about this film a lot more than the original is that it does dive into the psyche of the serial killer. It's a character study. Most of the movie is Donnie Wahlberg and Tobin Bell talking, and they have amazing chemistry together.
I don't intend to mock you, officer, but I'm a cancer patient. How could you possibly put me in any more pain than I'm already in?
Once you know the twists, every word is written so cleverly. And they do provide some great commentary on how the media handles serial killers and promotes their crimes and notoriety.
It was the police and the press who coined the nickname Jigsaw. I never encouraged or claimed that.
The problems with this franchise is that they write this character, but the writing doesn't match what the character's supposed to be. This whole film is about John's backstory. He was diagnosed with cancer and attempted suicide, but somehow still survived. He felt others didn't appreciate their lives, while his is practically over. It's a very real motivation you can sense, and this could have been really good.
You see, the knowledge of death changes everything. If I were to tell you the exact date and time of your own death, it would shatter your world completely. I know.
This character could easily be a viable villain if he remained consistent and let people actually choose their fates. If it was true that he wasn't a murderer and that every single trap was fair. Let's not forget slashing a cop's throat, rigging shotguns to blast another away, forcing one guy to kill another, and if he doesn't, hiring another fella to kill that man's wife and child, putting them in unsolvable traps. Isn't the whole point that absolutely every person in every single trap has a way out? And even in this film itself, he clearly enjoys the pain and misery.
He's cowering in a corner with a look on his face.
No, Eric, wait! You motherfucker, where is he? Where is he?
Before the gas creeping into his nervous system begins to break down his body tissue, and he begins to bleed from every orifice he has. Oh, yes. There will be blood. I'd like to go now until your son is pissing blood.
Which doesn't go along with the character that you're trying to build him as. If he's trying to rehabilitate people and make them appreciate their life, why is he enjoying them nearly dying?
I've never murdered anyone in my life. The decisions are up to them.
Eric destroys his work and, evidence to try to get him to fess up, and it still doesn't bother him. I just want to know how the hell John knew that he planted evidence on every single criminal. It is a great moment as they forget protocol and let Eric beat the ever-loving shit out of Jigsaw, but he's still an idiot because he agrees to be taken to the house alone. The weird thing is, you almost do sympathise with John's character because of Tobin's performance. He looks so vulnerable and weak at times. You do sometimes feel for him, and then you immediately feel guilty for it. Eric's son Daniel, played by Eric Knudsen, is very easy to root for. They're all criminals, including, hey, that guy from Speed! So you don't really care if they die. Except we find out that Eric framed them, so we don't really find out how much of a criminal they actually are. Although this UFC fighting motherfucker may as well just have kill me on his head. Shawnee Smith is back as Amanda, and to be fair, she gives an amazing performance, especially considering she was pregnant in real life at the time. I mean, she's back in another trap, so although I didn't see the twist coming, I could buy other people finding it predictable. We end up finding out that she's in on it and helping Jigsaw now, but what would they have done if this failed miserably? What if Brock Lesnar here ended up murdering her? It could have happened at any point. The plan was to always leave Daniel alive for the awesome twist at the end, but when he's imprisoned with a bunch of criminals, this could have gone horribly wrong. In fact, since we know Amanda is in on it, why does she take so long to realise there's a trap door here? She should know the building in and out. She wasted a lot of valuable time. But it's fair to say that these are all complete morons.
Thank God. The numbers are in the back of your mind.
It's written on the back of their heads. Seriously, this is something a toddler would figure out, but none of these grown-ass adults realise or stop to discuss it? Kinda deserve to die anyway. Who the hell looks through a peephole whilst opening a door?
Let's talk this out. No. No more talking.
You've done no talking! And eventually it's the big fucking Neanderthal who realises, come on! And he is somehow able to remember all of the numbers while slowly suffocating. And this chick shoves her hand straight in instead of unlocking it. Key's right there, fucking idiot. This guy's called Obi. No, not Obi, which is an actual name, but Obi.
Hello, Obi.
Even though it's spelt Obi. But he has the emotional range of a fucking cabbage.
I don't know the way out. If you're gonna threaten me with a knife, you may as well cut me a little. No, I can't.
Then you're a dead man.
So are you.
And this woman somehow remembers him kidnapping her, despite not seeing his face. But he's forced to climb inside a furnace to retrieve an antidote, but it's set ablaze. It's so annoying. The trap is so easy to escape. There's a valve there, he spots it, and still takes forever to even attempt to turn it. And then the others take 9 years to realise there's a window on the other side. You can only justify, well, you'd panic in the heat of the moment enough times.
No, we don't have 15 minutes. We need that location to the video.
Well, you do. You got 54. They force open a door despite what happened earlier. I mean, Jigsaw doesn't even give them much of a chance. They have 4 minutes to play a 2-minute tape, then find a pit of syringes, and find a key buried inside. And they still manage to nearly do it. This film also begins the trend of very confusing and distracting transitions from one location to another. I mean, just thank God it's not as common in this one. And the lazy jump scares, because nobody in horror movies act like normal people. The third act is actually really exciting as Eric rushes to the house, as do the cops, but they're led to a decoy place and it turns out the video feeds aren't live. How many twists are there? They end up back in the bathroom from the first one. Kind of would have been a cool cameo to have Adam still there, barely alive, but I'll allow it. Then Amanda jumps Eric and leaves him in the OG trap. I can't wait for him to be stuck there for a while. I mean, we saw just how hard it was to escape this trap in the first film. Oh, he's going to be there for quite some time. The thing is, the character of Amanda is very real and believable. Look at how many people Charles Manson was able to manipulate. It's a great setup for a character we can buy turning to murder. I just can't wait to see where they take the character. There's so much potential in this film and I know they're not going to ruin it. Saw 2 is great. I love the Jigsaw character and it's mostly written perfectly. The traps are well thought out even if the characters are a bit dumb. The twists are clever and the dialogue on point. The cinematography has improved since the last one and Tobin Bell steals the damn show. There are other parts just like the first film where you have to switch off your brain and just enjoy the mindless fun, but I feel like this one tries more. It tries new things. It tries to tell a story. It tries to speak on the media's perception of serial killers and how we promote them. It speaks on psychological manipulation. And it speaks on people trying to justify horrific actions. Saw 2 in my mind is another sequel that surpasses its predecessor.